Well, this is part 2 of the video on camp in Lebanon. We're going to look at approaches to the camp flag area and basically kind of have overall overhead type views for this segment. Any discussion or information relating to approaches to camp starts with that eastern bridge. This one we have to deal with, worry about, know about. And let's start off with just a basic straight up the road type of approach. We're going to go right up the road, and what we're going to see is that will lead into that relatively open area that's on the road. Could be very helpful to have tanks with us to aid and assist the assault as they can fire into the buildings. They can help take out infantry. They can protect themselves in that area pretty well. We'll have to deal with the 6-pounder. Everyone will have to be aware that right here, certainly the guard and the watchtower up in that platform can see the approach, and so you have to be ready to take it out and then look all around. See that cornfield is there and that the building is to the right. We know that just a little bit into that building we can get into the cap zone proper. May well be that an assault here would be just a prelude to another. Now, one other such assault could be swinging to the right. You have much better cover on the approach. You'll see that when we do this, we'll be just going cross country over hills that will lead to a ridge that will then lead to the buildings that will get us cover in the cap zone area. As we look here, we can see the guard tower will be over there. It may see us coming this way, may not. The hills are kind of undulating. There may be some paths that are better than others, but there's basic cover, some concealment certainly, and if we're moving fast and they're not quite attentive at the right times, they may not see the vehicles coming along this path here. If we turn up to the north at the appropriate time, we'll be in the woods. This is a good piece of cover, of course, and allows good concealment. There's a little ridge that just leads right to the camp area. You're going to just crest it. So we take a look around here. We'll see that in fact it gives good concealment and cover over that crest and right to that building that has the nooks and crannies into the cap zone. That holds a lot of promise. That has a lot of elements that are advantageous to an assault. I'll take a look back at the overall view here. Well, another approach is to come in from the west, and if we go across the bridge, then we would heel left, go along the gorge, and lead our way to the cornfield to make our way through it to the camp area. So we're going to cross left, we're going to go down through here. Got to be aware of the gorge, of course, you don't want to tumble into it. But we're going to go this way. We'll see we go through the green fields. There's a little bit of hills, again another woody patch, and head off towards the cornfield and have nice crest to cover there to the guard tower, and can make your approach. All three of these approaches done simultaneously might provide good results. You could come in across the middle bridge, maybe two thrusts across the eastern bridge. One thing to remember about camp and any approach to camp is the nature of the guard tower. I don't believe a troop can get into the actual area meant for a troop, but when they climb the ladder, has to go up to the platform that's built for the AA gun. So it may be a very exposed position. A sniper with a good shot could take out the observer there. Tanks HE could take the observer out, and they may be without eyes for a while. In the way of overview of any assault or defense of camp, we want to consider the terrain in the area. Well, camp is the only flag that we have to cross the gorge to get to. It's the flag that's nearest the enemy main. Those are two pretty big factors. Fortunately, the bridge or bridges should not be destroyable or mineable. They may be guarded, perhaps by tanks, and that would be the biggest obstacle to getting across and getting into position around camp for an assault. The other factors to consider are features like the cornfield, like the wooded area nearby, the wooded areas in the vicinity, and the type of terrain between camp and the Allied main. Of course, the fact the Allied main is so close is a very big factor. There's the Allied main there. See, there's the wooded section between camp and the Allied main. There's camp as we look at it from this perspective. See, looking over to the wooded areas there, and there's the Allied main. You can see how those will influence what could happen in any kind of operation in this area. Probably most significant of the wooded areas is the one right next to the camp flag area. The wooded area near the flag could provide cover for defending Dorchester, either ours or theirs. The wooded area that's between the Allied main and camp could provide good cover for defending tanks when we're defending after we've captured the area. So we'd want to keep that in mind for possible use. We also want to look at what the enemy perspective is coming from their main to camp. See here, basically looking towards camp, and we're at the enemy main, seeing the basic orientation of their weaponry. They could just head out straight over these hills, cross country, directly on a beeline to camp. You see the woods on the left. We'll take a look at them here. You'll see if they do that, they may expose themselves to flanking fire if a tank or a gun is over there. If they manage to bypass it, get by it to camp, they open themselves up to a flanking attack or crossfire. You can see how that could affect them there. So I think that's a good place for us to consider on any defense of the camp area. And so we'll just take a kind of final overall perspective of the area. One thing to remember is the size of that cap zone. I think that's a huge factor in this particular flag, and one that will influence what we are able to do.